This show is sponsored by Lila Arboretum Society.
Hello, I'm Vi Gogol, Master Gardener, and we're at the house of Bart and Trina Sleeper, and they're on the garden tour for 2016, Lila Arboretum garden tour for Battle Creek, and we're going to walk through Trina's garden.
Okay, and I forgot to mention that I have a silent German gardener, Bart Sleeper, who has been a big help in weeding and putting mulch around.
That's good. That's good you had some help, because this is a huge, huge place out here.
Well, it took us about 18. I've been married 20 years, and the first 2 years I kind of nested, and then I looked at the property and went, oh, hostas.
Yeah.
And I just kept going. So it's taken me about 18 years to really get it where I think I want it. There's still room for more.
Yeah, and we've got one of these, I want to call it chainsaw, but it looks like they used a finer tool.
No, it's chainsaw
Is it a
art.
chainsaw?
Yeah, my husband really likes the chainsaw art. There's this one with the light, and then there's the one with the honeybees on it. And there's another one in the back with a bear sleeping in a log.
We'll probably get to that one as we move around through your garden. We've got hostas all around us. I'm trying to think of where I should have Dave move to next. What I would like to say, when I was out here earlier this spring, there was nothing this tall growing here. It was solid blue.
Oh, the blue cilia, yeah, and then the daffodils came up after that.
And the daffodils, and what's really neat is that both of those foliages need to die back naturally, and the hostas come up and hide it.
Well, and I usually see it and I try to cut it all off, but this year we were gone during that time, so when I came back, the hostas were up and everything else was gone. It was great.
Wow. It's just amazing to see how many different, just looking here I can see so many different varieties.
Well, I have probably over 3,000 or 4,000 total hostas, but
I think more than that.
Well, I have about 115 different varieties. Most of them I remember, but I'm not one to label things, but like that big yellow one is a summon substance, and the one next to it is a Crosa Regal.
Yeah, I recognize that
and
one.
then there is that big Ligularia to the right there.
Yeah.
It just kind of fits in there.
Yeah, big leaves, and it transitions into the woods.
Yes.
The way you've done this gardening. Now you told me you called this garden
Controlled Chaos.
And I think, you know, looking at it as a gardener, I think you just put the plants in the right place.
Well, I just kind of throw things in and nature and God take over.
But sticking to the plants that love the shade in most of this area is really, they're just thriving in your yard here.
And I keep moving things around. I like the astilbes, the taller ones. They were in the front and I had to move them to the back. I planted probably 90% of the hostas. There were some up here in the parking lot garden, but I moved, what was the peonies were up here and they didn't get enough sun, so I had to move them down to the regular garden. And they're blossoming down there. Well, they're done now.
And I think I see bleeding heart.
Yes, bleeding hearts.
Yeah, they're all through blooming, but
yeah.
The foliage is still there.
Well, I have a gold leaf one that's in there somewhere too. It kind of gets hidden with everybody.
I think it's way in the back.
Yeah.
Over there, I think I see it. I see foliage that looks like it, but I
Yeah.
don't know. It's in the shade, and when the sun hits it, it's probably a different color.
Yeah. And behind these yellow hostas in the front, I have orange Asian lilies that come up, so it gives it a nice contrast.
And they're through.
Yeah, and now the purple is still being, I don't know if you call it purple, but is coming up and gives a little bit of contrast. Mm-hmm. That hosta right there in the middle has 3 different kinds of leaves on it, and it just, I don't remember planting it, I don't remember buying it, but it just kind of comes up that way. A little bit to Dave's right there.
Yeah, it's probably one that was hybridized, and when they sold it, it didn't show that it had other characteristics on it.
And don't they sometime revert to the parent hosta?
I don't know if hostas do that or not. It's possible.
Do they?
Dave says that's true. I didn't know that.
Well,
Is this maybe Golden Tiara?
No, I
No?
think that might be August moon. It's a
Oh,
little,
August moon.
tiara is a little shorter than that.
Well, the leaves are a little smaller, but I didn't know the way the things are thriving out here. I thought that you may have coaxed it to get big leaves.
I do fertilize with 12, 12, 12 every fall, and I may try 19, 19, 19 this fall.
I've never seen that for sale.
I think Horrocks had it. Horrocks or Farm Bureau. That's where I get most of my stuff.
Yeah, and Farm Bureau can order anything you want.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
'Cause I always order larger containers of preen than what they carry. So
Well, and I've tried along the garden. We have deer in this forest, and the deer population is down, so I have not sprayed this year, and I've only lost maybe 5 or 6 leaves, and that's very unusual for here because it's a salad bar for the deer.
sure, a lunch buffet.
Yes, it is.
Well, let's walk over toward closer to the house and get some of that. We want to get down and see your gardens that have faces.
I haven't either. And this is my squirrel garden over here that's kind of getting overwhelmed. I thought I would like just the giant hostas, but more and more I've gotten into enjoying the miniature hostas too. So I just kind of splurge them in. And it's a surprise garden too. It's like, oh my goodness, you survived, or oh, I planted you there, surprise, you came up. And I've received a lot of things from friends, so it's a friendship garden, and I share mine and just enjoy planting them.
Is that a wren I hear?
No, I think it's a chipmunk.
Little
Yep, that's chipmunk.
Okay. You have hundreds of those. I
Oh,
understand.
thousands of them. I killed 120 one year. This year it's only been about 30 to 40, so I am making a dent in the population.
Okay. This is
This is the lawn garden with John Deere, an old tiller, cultivator, I guess you would call it.
yeah, it's a cultivator. That's for sure. I
Yeah.
can see the tines or whatever you call them down there. And
And
here's
there's
the
some-
little bear.
There's the bear or cat, and then there's another bear up here on the.
Oh yeah, he's climbing a tree. That
And
might be Pooh,
Yeah, Pooh Bear. That's what I call, that's the bell garden over here.
the bell garden.
And then
Okay.
this is the sister garden, I guess, because that's where we bought the little seat there, was from the sister's garden up near Central Michigan College. And
Oh, okay.
that little planter there was just a piece of wood when we cut down the tree, and it was there, and I just said, you're not burning that because we do heat with wood. It just looked like it fit right there.
Mhm.
Oh, and there's a little snake
Where?
right in the creeping Jenny.
Oh yeah, it's a real
There he
little one.
goes. Yeah.
He's gone. Can't get him, Dave. Or did you get him?
Maybe.
And then the dump truck. They don't make Tonkas like that anymore. And I thought, a great planter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always moving stuff around. And the hostas in the middle there, I'm not sure if they're cascading jade, but I know there's one on the right. It is cascading jade that my brother gave me from Philadelphia. And the leaves just look a little bit more narrower than these do, so they may be a brother or sister. It's just enjoyable to come out and,
Well, it's actually quite cool here in the shade.
oh, it's easily 5 or 10 degrees cooler than it is in town.
Yeah.
And the other cultivator that I have over there by the hydrangea, my neighbor gave it to me, and I went, John Deere colors again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Advertising for him.
Yeah, we do have relatives that work there, so.
Oh, well that's good.
And my hydrangeas, this has done so well this year. All I've done is put all my coffee grounds on them all winter long, and they've turned, this is the best that hydrangea has done.
Do you know what one that is?
Is it a snowball? I'm not sure. I don't label things, so
Yeah,
I look at them and that looks pretty, and that's where it's going to go.
yeah, I'm not real familiar with
The hydrangeas.
the pink ones.
Well, actually, if I have one that's similar to that, and I didn't put coffee grounds on it, and it's blue. The amount of acid in the soil determines what color it's
Yeah.
going to come out. Yeah.
Exactly right. And I see the lace cap
Oh,
one
yeah,
over
there's
there.
a lace cap one there that's all done. We just planted that one this year because we lost a little bush there. I think.
Spirea.
Yes, it was spirea in front of the rhododendron and only got a few blossoms this year. I need to put more coffee on that.
Well, I don't have coffee grounds, so I guess I won't be able to do that with mine, but that's a good suggestion.
Well, I grind up all my compost in the wintertime. I just pour it out here on my beds, and it looks awful on the sun, on the snow, but it sure does make a difference in what grows and how big it gets. Okay, should we go over here? Let me, yep, this is my kitchen garden, and I come out here and pour all my vegetable liquids that I'm done cooking with, and that's why that guacamole is so big. And this columbine came up all by itself, and there's coneflower that came up. Volunteers, I guess.
Well, maybe the birds transplanted the purple coneflower for you.
And we just kind of put things, I like to be able to put things small on by the house so I can look at them from the kitchen and enjoy them from the kitchen sink or the kitchen table.
It's always a good idea. People should look out their windows before they plant things, and they get double enjoyment then when they get it.
Well, yeah, and sometimes I forget how big the plant's going to get, and if all of a sudden it overgrows the area and I have to split it and move it, which I don't mind. I can find a spot for it somewhere. This is the gold tiara, I believe, and this is a very aggressive hosta, but I love it. Yeah, beautiful purple flowers.
They weren't aggressive at my house, but I saw them at Natalie Rector's house, and she had just kept dividing them by. Everything was bordered with them because they just kept growing.
Yeah, that's what I've got around the tree planter there too.
But yeah, when you turn around to look at after the impatiens here that Bart planted, I like the color combinations.
Every year we try different color combinations, but I think we're into pink this year.
Okay, and then you can see over there by the tree where the bears were. On the back side, she's got the golden tiara all bordering that garden.
Yeah, and there's some in substance in there, and guacamole I think is also in there, the hostas. And there's the razor's edge hosta in front there with a fine thin leaf, and it has a red stem on it.
Okay, well let's move on.
This is when I come out my front door. I can see this every day and just enjoy watching them grow and mature. It's just beautiful here, so relaxing. We've had so many people come and say, "Oh my goodness, it is just gorgeous here. Can we move here? Are you selling your house?" No. But it's God's creation, and I just kind of tend it. And when I look down, my husband used to mow on either side there, and I thought, I don't really want to mow all that grass. And I was looking down there, and I had some hostas, some variegated hostas in front of me, and I went, hostas, line the driveway.
They go all the way to the road.
Yeah, it just.
And then you've got other things dotted in there, like I see monarda.
Yes, and there's some daylilies and ferns and some. I replanted some dogwoods because this used to be called Dogwood Hills, but all the dogwoods are dying off. I think we only have 3 dogwoods left. And on the right there is a wolf-eyed dogwood behind the redbud there, and that's been 2 years now. But I just keep transplanting and moving things.
There is a disease that hit the dogwoods pretty hard, and I'm losing them too.
Yeah, I get a little creative with my hostas, and I made a longifolia cross that's on the left-hand side, on the west side of the driveway, and down front there is a smile face made out of hostas, and there's also a big S for sleeper.
Okay.
Actually, it was the S for spring because I had 400 crocuses that came up last year, and the word spelled out spring, but the critters got them.
Oh. Okay, well let's move on down this path that's behind us.
Yeah, down this way is my. Oops, he's off. Just watch your step. Oh, the moles. We lost a mole trap. My husband brought one up, and he left the mole in it, but now the mole and the trap are gone.
So some animal took it off.
Either coyote or a possum or a raccoon.
Or a bear.
Oh, no, hopefully not. This is my whining wall. This is my wine wall. And I did not drink all this wine. I had a lot of friends that helped me. The ones that are in the ground remind me of the big city because in Philadelphia, on the sidewalk, the elevators come up out of the sidewalk. And that part of the sidewalk has metal but glass in there to let the light down into the basement, and that just reminds me of Philadelphia. And then if we continue to walk down here to the back of the house, you can see the walkout.
Okay.
Yeah, the Empress Wu there I did plant about 3 or 4 years ago, and it is one of the largest hostas. And I have several of them, but that one is doing the best right there. It'll stand, it's a good specimen one, but I kind of just throw them in with everything else.
Yeah, well, as we walk along this way, there's more and more to see. More and more and more.
Yeah, it just keeps going. Oh, you know what? I was down in the barn and I thought I need another garden ornament. And there was my 3-speed bike. So I brought it up and painted it black, and there it sits. I tried to string it up between 2 trees so it looked like Mary Poppins, but I don't, the trees aren't hard and big enough to string it from.
Yeah.
And while I was getting it out, I heard this scratch, scratch, scratch down in the barn, and looked up in the rafters, and there was a rackety coon.
Oh, great.
So I did catch him, and then where there's one, there's 2, so I got the other one. Oh, there goes the chipmunk.
And are these pink hydrangeas the same as the one by the door?
Yes, they are.
They're beautiful.
They got all the coffee grounds this winter, and
Except for the lace cap is a different one up there.
right. Now, the deck we had extended to the end of the house, and we put a hot tub up there, and then we tiered this, all the stone from our neighbors, and I'm going to ask God why he made stones so heavy. But then I asked my brother, who's a landscape artist, I said, what should I put in here? He said, Trina, just throw stuff in there. So that's what I've done, and if I don't like it, I move it. So it's been a joy to really impact back here.
There's a blue hydrangea back closer to the house.
Yeah, and that one I did not put coffee grounds on. So that one stayed blue. Well, it's a little pink in there. I don't know if you can see it with all the sun back here. We don't get a lot of sun. And you can see it's leaning this way towards the sun.
Yeah.
Oh,
So many interesting things to see.
oh, and if my granddaughter wants to get married here. She said, Mimi, you have to fix the barn up. I said, well, that's going to cost a little money. And I put hostas around the trees down there. You can't really see them from here because of the shade.
Well, the camera usually adjusts to what it's looking at, so maybe we
And
can
the-
get a good view
The
of it.
white and green hostas that are all around the property came from Bart's mother-in-law, Dorothy Phillips. She gave me a container, 3 feet by a foot, and I just started dividing them, and they're probably 15 years old. And I keep splitting them, so I'm totally surrounded by Dorothy Phillips. And then we have down way in the back is all forsythia. And in the spring, it's just beautiful. And then under the
yeah.
forsythia, I have more hostas, and then we have impatiens, pink impatiens underneath that. There's always a place to put something.
Yes.
I tell people, don't throw anything out. I'll nurse it and find a place for it. But it's just a joy to play in the soil, not dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt comes in the house.
Yeah, that's under the bed.
Those are ghost turds. Oh, well, and my neighbor had 11 horses over there, and he had 11 buffalo across the way. So it was nice being out here in the country, but they've all died off. And now he leases it out, I think, to friends, and there are cattle over there now.
Okay, now, is there something down by the barn that we ought to see?
Well, there are raised beds down there, but there's nothing really.
We decided to turn around and take a picture of where we were talking from earlier to see the deck and everything that you can see.
That stone wall has an interesting history. Dr. Jacobs lived here, and his son took the car out one time and totaled it. And for his penance, he had to build that wall.
Oh.
So that's why, and I wish he'd gone a little bit higher because then I wouldn't have to lean so hard cutting the grass there.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it adds a uniqueness to the property.
Yeah, it does. It's nice to have stories about things. Okay, let's continue on down towards the
We
barn.
had the original part of the 80-acre farm, and the barn was part of it. We got the 10 acres in between, the 35 acres on each side, and it needs a new roof, but it just is such a beautiful piece of garden work.
Yeah, I think I took some pictures of it when I was out here before.
Yeah, I tried to take a picture of it in every season, and fall is the hardest one for me to get. Left the fence up around our garden, and that's where we used to have our vegetable garden, but the last 2 years we haven't put one in. But I do have raised beds. You know, I got some tomato plants, and that's about the only thing that's growing in there. Oh, and rhubarb. And then my husband does the border around the garden.
Oh, you've got lots of
Oh,
Monarda bee
coneflowers.
balm.
Yeah, and they've got coneflowers and
Oh, yeah.
daylilies and irises.
Is that tulip going to get painted green?
No, that'll stay. That'll stay the original. That's from my stepfather's barn up in International Falls, Minnesota.
Oh, you've got lots of significant,
Garden
garden art.
art, yeah. Yeah, and some of the daylilies we actually got from a fella in Iowa. We would go out every year and visit his mom. And we took a back road, and there's a farmer who had quit farming and was selling daylilies. And so for $5 a shovel, we bought several different daylilies. And the
Oh,
other
they're beautiful.
daylilies were all given to me by a friend up in Grand Rapids. She was on the National Garden Tour, and her partner could not take care of her daylilies anymore, so she gave me a whole wheelbarrow full.
Wow.
And I separated them and had 400 individual daylilies, and that was about 7-8 years ago. Oh, and there's a butterfly out there. And usually have the hummingbirds down here too. But it's just very relaxing. As you can see, the beds are empty. I just did not get to them this year. I like to put herbs in there and beans in there and cucumbers going up a crawler. Oh, there is asparagus in there too, I forgot. And then we've got Japanese irises here, and this is blue flag instead of yellow flag. It's a blue flag.
Okay.
And here, these are the
Peonies.
peonies. Yes, thank you. A little bit of a brain part there. Oh, and the deer did like this part. This guy here is the
Autumn joy sedum?
yes.
Yeah, they do like that.
So,
It's succulent. It's
moist.
moist when they eat it.
Yeah. I have poppies in here and irises and spirea. Looks like the spireas I have. This is a big lily we got from Iowa. This is a really, really pretty one here.
Yeah, that is pretty.
And I found that those red ones leak and they stain.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, we got black-eyed Susans coming up. We bet that.
Wow, and they've got buds on them,
Yeah.
just about ready to go. We think of those as being late summer,
Yeah.
but boy, every year it seems like they come earlier.
And those are from my sister-in-law, Joan Gerard. And yeah, I have a wild weed garden out there. I made the mistake of killing all the grass and then having my neighbor come and plow it over, so I got a lot of weeds.
Yeah.
And the wildflowers really look good for 2 or 3 years, but now the weeds have taken over. But I have a lot of the coneflowers out there and bee balm that I'm transplanting up to the house. But that's about it. And you have to have a tire swing, of course, for the grandkids.
Oh, there it is. It's pulled back.
Yeah.
It's so important to be hanging.
Yeah, that was a challenge to put up. My son helped me put that up.
Boy,
Yeah.
I guess so, but it looks like it's a good sturdy place to have it.
Well, every farm needs a tire swing. And the kids love to come down here and play. We play baseball down here in the yard and play another game called Coob, which the kids like. It's a Norwegian game, I believe. I'm trying to knock down the other sticks. It's fun. And this is also forsythia. This is all lined over here. And I think the farmhouse used to be right behind this forsythia right in there. And she had tulips and daffodils. Oh my goodness, this place is loaded with daffodils. And there were so many, they're so close together, they weren't blossoming, so I had just been moving them and moving them. But, well, it's been a joy to be able to share all this with everyone.
Oh, you're going to have fun on the weekend with people, all the things they're going to tell you. You're going to feel so good. and I need to thank you for letting us come and videotape, but also thank you for putting your garden open for the public. Lila Arboretum appreciates it. Anything that is a fundraiser for us, and anything that comes in goes to programs at the Arboretum and maintenance.
They have a lot to share, and I wish people would take more advantage of it, because it's great eye therapy there, just to walk around out in the Arboretum.
Yeah, but they should come on the garden tour too.
Yes, the garden tour. Every garden is so unique. It's
yes,
just
it
so
is.
special.
Yes.
It's a joy to share it, because God gave us this. He created the earth out of chaos. I'm creating my beauty out of chaos.
Okay. Thank you again.
If you would like to become a Master Gardener, call 969-0270, extension 116. If you have questions or suggestions about this show, call 963-1448.